Hello, welcome to round 8 Suzuka. Oh god, don't worry, nobody ever tunes in at the start anyway. But welcome to Suzuka round 8 FP League. Just wait until quali begins and enjoy the show. So, in the commentary box today we've got former FP admin and multiple race winner, boy with no face, also known as Josh.
Thank you very much, yeah. Also known as Josh, yeah. Happy to be here. Looking forward to joining you in the box.
Yeah, what are you expecting from today? I mean, you've not seen the FP grid, but you know quite a few of the drivers.
I haven't been following the league this season, but I know all the drivers very well. I've got, past experiences with them, so I'm hoping for an exciting race. I think we've got a lot of talent on the grid, lots of possible drama, and Japan's a classic track, one of Big C's favourites, so he'll be wanting to do well, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I'm just going to check your mic volume to see whether it's adequate enough, so I'll let you know in a second.
Go ahead.
You might need to turn it up a tad, just a tad, because when the engine voice comes up, it might override with you.
When the engines kick in, okay.
Oh, fucking hell, how do I change the... Sorry, how do I...
Hopefully there's no kids tuning in.
No. I just need to share the stream. I do struggle getting things shared out. But right, we'll slap it on the Twitter page, shall we? PSGL FP stream with Grosjean fan club or something like that in it. Right. Let's do that. Put that in there. Featuring title favourites such as Jolyon and Manny. So we'll get Joel's name in there. And then I'll see if I can get a little hashtag up. I'll put hashtag Jolyon and Manny. Right. Oh, we're getting
predictions here. What are your predictions for top 3 for the race?
Joel, Big C, and Oogie.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yourself?
I'm going to say Joel, Warren Haig, and Oogie. I think Big C's gonna have a shocker at his favourite track. He's gonna do alright, but I don't see it today. I feel like something's gonna go wrong.
I'm not surprised. I mean, drivers like Big C, they've been broken for a few years, so exactly. You just don't know what to expect.
On a constant downward spiral. Yeah.
And title favourite Joel could be in with a shout this afternoon, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. He's obviously very experienced, and he was also very excited about being within 12 points of the lead of the championship. So I think he'd be very motivated to get a good result.
I agree with you. And what do you make of this Suzuka track? I mean, it's got a lot of history.
It's very twisty. I mean, if you make a mistake here, I mean, it punishes you. It really punishes you. It's like Monaco, but instead of walls, it's just gravel and kind of like fields, and they can be just as soul destroying because the impact in a wall hits you straight away, but with these tracks, the kind of damage just keeps going.
No, oh crap! I think I've put the F1 logo in there. I might ban the stream, but
so dry weather.
Yeah, and we noted that you were trackside earlier. You were listening into some of the engines. What did you make of Juhofin's Mercedes engine that he was crunching around 130?
Yeah, I was listening in, but the gears, they sounded a bit out of sync. I mean, when he went from 4th to 5th, it was just an odd noise. I don't know if it's the way he drives, the way he holds the steering wheel, but it just didn't sound right. So, be interesting to see how he copes on track. But hopefully he gets a good result because he's a very, very nice and experienced driver.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm hearing reports that rain is expected at the start of a race, so a lot of these drivers now flurrying out of the pit lane. I don't want to look at Ash Best. We see him all the time. I want to see a dirty driver. Oh no. Who needs a bit of airtime today? Look at that. Oh, Warren Hayes out there. Oh, we're going to have to go with a front runner. Mr. Grumpy's not out there yet. Abby Oden is out there. He's recently moved up to
following Ash Best
F1.
very closely, isn't he? Maybe a bit of...
Yeah. And you know the Haas car very well, you know, your favourite driver races, isn't it? What could we expect from the Haas around the streets here of Suzuka?
I think it's a quick car in today, you know. I think it's got good top line speed, obviously, and it might be quite good in the second and third sectors, the more traditional parts of the track. But I think in the first sector it's going to really struggle, because I mean it's one of the most wobbly cars out there. I mean some of the parts just hang off sometimes. It's really not built traditionally or very well. So we'll see how it copes. But it's a good enough car.
Yeah, and we've got loads of drivers coming out of the pit lane at the moment. As Mr. Grumpy's also made his way out as he catches a waft of the Japanese sunshine. There's one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. This man's competed in 1,000 PSGL races over the last decade. He's been controlling the game ever since he was brought onto the PSGL site. One of the true legends around, Mr. Grumpy. But we're going to head back on board with Abby Oden, who's going to start a lap in the Haas. Josh, do you just want to take us through it? Just describe what you're seeing here.
Yeah, okay. So he gets a bit of oversteer when he tries to start his lap there. Cold tyres, because he went so slow through the last sector. Now he goes through the start-finish straight. It's not actually the longest straight on the track, but the DRS is still enabled. He goes through turn 1. Very difficult corner. I mean, many people have made mistakes here. Locked up, hit the barrier, made contact. It's a hard part of the track. And now he flies through this section. Lots of gear changes. You know, varying degrees of throttle. Very difficult, but he's done it quite well, looks like. Now the left-hander. He's done it nice and wide, out of the gravel. Coming up to the two... I've forgotten the names of the corners, but they're very famous corners. Degners, is it?
Yeah, the Degners, the Dunlops, the 130 yards. Yes.
He's gone through the Degners very nicely, up to the hairpin. Oh, he's gone down to first. That's interesting. Very, I mean, the gear change didn't look right, but I'm not sure if he's backed off, but yeah. I think he's backed off.
Yeah, so it's Ash Best who's going to be the first man to line. Look at that, through Spoon Corner in the McLaren once again. He doesn't like the McLaren, not enough straight line speed. Penalised. He was last time out for weaving on the final lap to break the toe against Wacko. So Ash Best wasn't impressed with that penalty, and I mean, I thought the manoeuvre was completely legit. I thought Ash was harshly penalised, but you know, that's my opinion. I mean, if you're breaking the toe in a McLaren, I thought, you know, as long as it's safe to do so, do it. And Ash Best was as safe as possible as he drives the line, and he's 7/10 off while Big C leads the way with 1:26.9. Sorry, 1:29.
Looks like an impressive lap, doesn't it, from Big C?
Yeah.
Considering the Williams, which won't be great for some parts of the track. So.
Yeah. And one man who's been struggling for a setup all evening, Mr. Grumpy, as he rounds the final two corners, as he wrenches the Red Bull racing car down the start-finish straight, DRS wide open, and Mr. Grumpy sticks it for.
Sensational, fantastic. You know, the way he's got home from work, set that time, amazing. And Louis gone P3 in the Haas. That's a good lap.
It's a good lap, but title favourite Jolianu Manu, one of the most experienced drivers around, a wet weather specialist. He'll be relishing the opening stages of this race as he comes down the final corner, car number 10 for Renault, and he starts his lap here. Josh, he starts his lap. Look at that, the crowd are erupting. The crowd are erupting. There's standing ovation. Standing ovation for the title favourite. Jolianu Manu is going for a hot lap here. We've not given him a full lap on board, Josh. Take us through this tight, twisty complex.
His first sector so far has been just brilliant. Just, you know, proper, so much experience in that car. I mean, you know, the way he holds the wheel is just fantastic, and Looks like a good first sector. Flies through Degner 1. Goes down to 4th gear, flies through Degner 2. Looks good so far. The crowd up on their feet. Some are waving baguettes at the Renault car. They're really getting quite patriotic here for Joel. There's even some, you know, some chants, some Northern Irish, I can't really name them, but some religious chants in the crowd. So I mean, lots of support for Joel here, and he flies through end of sector 2 now, up to Spoon Curve. It looks good. It looks good.
It is good, Josh. It is good.
Take us through the end of the lap.
And Gareth Macaulay looks on in the Renault garage, nervous look on his face as Julian Amani goes through 130R. The title favourite needs to get the braking spot on here. Yes, he does. He does. The Northern Irishman, Julian Amani, title contender, title favourite, to the line in the Renault. What can he do? And he goes sixth.
Oh.
He goes sixth.
Fantastic. He's beaten Jack Lacey, and he's within Ash Best's, you know, his zone there. That's an amazing lap. Very close. After Big C, actually, very close.
And Juho Finn is starting a lap as well. He's coming out of the garage. Ugi Azim in 12th. He's also going to come out for a lap. So Juho Finn always seems to get the television coverage for some reason. He always comes out in this middle part, gets the quieter of the track conditions here. So
it's a very clever thing to do. You know, you get less traffic, and also I think, you know, it gives TV coverage for the sponsors. I think some team bosses order drivers to do this. You know, maybe if you're not going to place the car in front of a grid, you know, you get ordered to do other things to get the money in. So he's going to start his lap now, see what he does.
Yeah, why don't you take us through this?
JP Greenwood's crashed. JP Greenwood.
Oh, JP Greenwood. Oh no. Well, he's still in the race. He's 11th on the grid. He'll have fresh tyres, but we'll go back to Joe and his teammate who's been overshadowing him this season. JP Greenwood's very, very jealous of Juho Finn's success. You know, they're very competitive teammates, but Juho Finn, his form has definitely erupted over the last 2 races here. The Flying Finn coming around the final corners. Sorry, the middle sector of the lap rather, as he locks up into the tight twisty zone here. Josh, what's this going to be?
I mean, it's looked very good so far. He looks nice and smooth, but I'm just concerned about the engine. You know, I mentioned it earlier, the gears don't seem right. I don't think he's got the technique at the moment, and if you look, he can't get the car down to 4th and all.
Yeah, very dangerous there.
Hopefully he could get himself into the top 10 here, maybe P8, P9. We'll see.
So we're coming around the final corner here with Juho Finn absolutely mows the lawn there and takes a little bit more of the grasses into the pits. But Ugi Azim, he's on a flying lap here. One of the more broken drivers you'll see on the PSGL website. He's had an up and down season. He was in the contention for the title. He still is the league admin for FP. He just can't put a foot right. He just can't put a foot right. DNF in left, right and centre in the PSGL F1 League. Ugi Azim, fast but fragile. And he's flying the flag here for Pakistan as the Rawalpindi Express goes through 130R. And what can Ugi Azim do here? He's got the final corner. Can he put the Toro Rosso high up the grid? Lahore, Karachi, eat your heart out. Ugi Azim to the line. And it's 7th.
Behind Jolian Avenue. I mean, that just says everything. One of the drivers is broken. You know, he can't get his head in the right place, and the other one is just content with his career, content with everything he's achieved. Jolian Avenue, one of the most successful Northern Irishman to ever grace any racing league ever. I mean, it's just fantastic. But he's up in the top 10, up in the top 6. You know, he's got a shout of getting in the top 5 here. He's on his outlap now. It's just exciting to behold, isn't it?
I completely agree with you. I just don't know who to go on board with at this stage of the race. Who's the furthest up the road?
I think CC Brain's on a lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we'll have a look at him, shall we? Go on, Josh, take us through this.
So he's coming to a final few corners now. Oh, he locks up. Yeah, that's the signs of a man who's under pressure. We'll see what he's going to do here. He's had some tussles with Big C recently. We'll see if he can get near him in qualify. Oh, and he's just starting the lap. My apologies.
No, that's please be.
I mean, the way he
Marquez.
locked up there, it just looked like he was, he was really pushing.
Yeah, I've seen enough of a Renault. I want to see Mr. Grumpy in the Red Bull. Look at that. Look at him wrenching the car around through the first sector. Mr. Grumpy, very, very talented driver, isn't he?
Beautiful helmet as well, can I add? Beautiful helmet on the Red Bull.
And I'm just going to put the FP stream in the F4 chat. I know that there are some drivers who are in this league who will see that message appear and we'll see if it distracts Mr. Grumpy. So qualifying's looking good, isn't it, at the moment? Big C on pole by 4 attempts, QPR Beast in second, AMS third, Mr. Grumpy fourth, Ash Best fifth, Joel sixth, Oogie seventh. So look at that.
AMS has just jumped. AMS just jumped Lou.
Wow.
Sorry to interrupt. So that's a good lap from him.
It's a sensational lap.
Do you think anyone can challenge Big C now as we enter the final few seconds of qualifying? Or?
Oh, Grumpy, look at him. He's going through 130R up 210 miles an hour as he comes down the braking zone here into the final sector. Look at that. Beautiful, as you like, to the line goes the Red Bull. Mr. Grumpy, he wants to put it high up the grid. He wants to, and he can't. He can't. What about Ash Best? Oh, he's too far down the line. Who else is going to be close to finishing that? I think QPR Beast could be one
Louis,
of the next.
QPR Beast. Oh, and Big C's improved even more. I mean, he's on form today. He's got a point to prove to his old rival in the commentary box, hasn't he?
He has, but, Big C's achieved it all. He's won it all, but QPR Beast is a man who hasn't won that much and will be wanting to prove people wrong here, but he can only stay fourth. So Ash Best here. Oh, a shake there at the exit of Spoon.
Giuliano Manu. Go on board with Giuliano Manu, and he's going to the last few corners now.
Take us through this.
So let's see if he can jump any drivers. He's gone down to 8th for the moment, so he drives for the line.
Sensational! Giuliano Manu has put it 6th for Renault, the title contender. And wow, what an amazing qualifying session. It's wet weather. So should be interesting.
I think someone moved up at the end there. Someone jumped. I think it was Jack Lacey, was it? Or?
Yeah, it's Jack. They all move, don't they, for some reason.
They all move.
Yeah, but look at that, the Mercedes starting 12th and 13th. So not a bad place to start if it's going to be wet weather conditions.
No, in these conditions, exactly. I think only 10 drivers set in a time, which is obviously, it tells you what sort of race it's going to be, I think.
Yeah, well, Ash Best wishes his fellow competitors good luck as he leads the FP standings, but he will be missing the last 3 races as he's going away, I believe, to Bulgaria. But we are going to be away here in Suzuka under treacherous monsoon conditions, and Gareth McCauley lets out a smile in the pit lane as he knows it's going to work to advantage of his fellow countryman Giuliano Manu, who starts 7th on the grid. And Josh, you've raced in these type of conditions before. What will drivers be thinking before the start of the race? Mentally.
I think it's a mixed bag. Some drivers will be, just scared, just purely scared of what could happen. Go really cautious into turn 1 and just try and survive. And other drivers will see it as an opportunity. People like Warren Haig and even Mr. Grumpy, he's brilliant. And Giuliano Manu, these experienced drivers who've really tussled in the midfield, they know how to stay out of trouble, and they'll be trying to make up positions for the start.
Very good insight, and we are going to be underway here. It's Big C on the right, Abby Oden on the left, and we are away. Both drivers of off TC, not very good. And look at that, Big C, a low wheel spin. Abby Oden trying to put him under threat, but it's not going to happen. And behind there was the AMS going around the outside, and he's gone wide a little bit. I just wonder, is he going to have enough grip to get through there? As Giuliano Manu, I believe, made an alright start.
He's having a look at. Good start there from all the drivers. Big C actually had the worst start, but he managed to defend well. So it's all kind of...
Juho Finn!
Oh.
Juho Finn is spinning.
Oh.
He's spinning around. JP Greenwood having a few problems as well as Haig makes his way past 2 drives. Mr. Grumpy down to 10th. So it's all kicking off, and we've just missed AMS versus Abbey Oden. So AMS definitely very confident in the wet weather conditions as the McLaren Hondas are lying astern in 4th and 5th here. And Abbey Oden's under pressure here. I wonder what he's going to do. Oh, he's at the back of AMS. He's lost a bit of his end plate. That is going to be
Jack Lacey on the outside of Louis. He's just gone around the outside.
Yeah,
good move, good move.
Yeah, very good move. So a very eventful start to the race.
We'll go on board with Mr. Grump here, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's really looking he looks like he wants some in these conditions. I know he's had a poor start, but he does look, you know, he wants to make amends.
He's got a good drive out there. I just worry for the sanity of Ugyazine through 130R. I don't think Mr. Grumpy's going to go for anything risky there. He forces Ugyazine to the inside, and I think... Oh, look at that! Well, a specialist, Abbey Oden.
Oh, and Abbey Oden. Sorry.
Oh, he's been passed by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers, and there's more end plates flying around there. Abbey Oden has to come in, and eventful start to the race.
And Joliano Manu, all over the back of the Haas. He knows how to overtake.
Yeah,
let's see if he has a go.
And QPR Beast is ruining the champion chances. What an overtake!
Push him wide, push him.
That is
brilliant.
World class from the wet weather specialist. Joliano Manu relishing these conditions. His move jumped 2 places at the start. Jack Lacey also making a good start, but Joliano Manu is on his way. He's on his way, and that is a great start. And Warren Haig all over the back of Mr. Grumpy as well. So Ugyazine broken in the wet weather conditions, really struggling there. And I think Mr. Grumpy will know he needs to make the overtake soon. He does not want to be spending any more laps behind Ugyazine. I wonder if he's just going to have a go down the hairpin now or never. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's just going to wait to get the drive out of the corner here. And Ugyazine having a bit of a moment there, Josh.
He doesn't look comfortable in that car, does he? I mean, even the connection bar doesn't look comfortable. He's moving around. He doesn't look smooth. And Mr. Grumpy does need to get back soon, unless he wants his race to be ruined.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy's struggling in the dirt. Yeah, so AMS is putting Big C under pressure. So we'll just have a quick look at that.
Oh, but AMS made a mistake. AMS made a big mistake.
And Ash Best is having a look. Oh, Ugyazine! Oh, CC Brains is off at 130R.
I mean,
sensational. And JP Greenwood is up into the final point scoring position. Warren Haig makes a pass on Mr. Grumpy. So Haig enjoying these conditions.
I wonder if Mr. Grumpy and CC Brain had contact, because it seems like a strange crash to have by yourself so early on.
Yeah, I don't think
Not
so.
Sure.
But Juho Finn's 46 seconds off 12th place. Surely JP Greenwood's going to have the upper hand over his teammate today.
I mean, as long as he keeps it consistent, he's even in with a shout of a point here, so he really needs to knuckle down and see, try and maximise the result this race.
And who else is out at Ash Best over the back of AMS? He's closing up to Big C. He's not particularly enjoying these conditions, so Big C's got a little bit of a queue behind him in the Williams. We know the Williams doesn't run too well in the wet weather conditions at the moment. So Abbey Oden has asked, why do they brake so early as he went through the pit lane? So Abbey Oden not happy with the race start.
No. It'll be interesting to see if the conditions get worse or better, because I mean, obviously we're intermediate tyres now, but if it dries out, then maybe we'll see some dry tyres or wet tyres, or it might stay the same. But at the moment, Big C seems to be doing alright. He got pulled in a bit, but now he's made a bit of a gap. Yeah. And Jack Lacey is the closest to an overtake, I think.
He is. The rumour is conditions will get lighter towards the end, so they should get a little bit easier. But look at that, Jack Lacey putting Ashbest under all sorts of pressure. He's not got the toe there to really put him under threat. So Ashbest defending the line there. And Jack Lacey's got nowhere to go and he runs wide a little bit, but he looks comfortable in those conditions.
I'll tell you, he does look comfortable. Giuliano Manu, I mean, he's just staying so consistent in the Renault. I mean, it's not the grippiest car, but he just looks so comfortable on track in these conditions. You know, all the wealth of experience and experiences that he's had on track, he just looks... I mean, my money would be on him to get a podium. I'm putting it out there. He really would.
And his teammate is Big C in this league. You know, they might not win the same car, but they are teammates. I wonder if Big C's playing a tactical game here, backing the pack up for Joel. So
it could be possible, yeah.
Jody Animani's got a lovely helmet for the Renault, and he's enjoying these conditions. So will he be waiting for a change in conditions? These tyres will definitely not be able to make it to the end. Definitely won't. As we listen in here to Jolyon Imane, car number 10. Let's ride on board with him as he goes through 130. Let's see if he's struggling there for corner entry. Slight lift there, goes a little bit wide. He's got to be careful not to run out on that curb at 130, which did claim CT Brain, but Ashbest out of shape. This is going to give Jack Lacey a little bit of a slingshot on traction. I think Ashbest could be under pressure here slightly, dependent on the toe that Jack Lacey gets down.
Fastest from AMS. It's going to be difficult for Jack Lacey though, same car, same engine, you know, it's going to, in these conditions it's very hard to make a pass. So, we'll see if he can.
It's hard, but it's not impossible, and the greatest drivers can make overtakes, and you've overtaken many drivers in wet weather conditions, you know. So what will Jack Lacey be thinking here?
He needs to, you know, he needs to watch Ashbest. He needs to, rather than, you know, focus on driving, because I mean he seems to have that under control. He needs to focus on his vision. Really look at the guy ahead. Look where he's struggling. Look where he's good. Look where the car gets thinner, where it gets wider, and see, you know, and plan out his attack. You know, premeditate it. Get ready to squeeze in, and when he's there, it's full commitment. You know, you can't be backing out in these conditions. You make the move, and then you squeeze the driver out, and you get the position.
Yeah, but just squeezing a driver out here, mate, if they put a foot on the grass, it's see you later, you know, end of the race for you. So it's going to be risky, but, you know, if it's got to be done, it's got to be done. And Jolyon and Manu keeping a side eye on the affairs, and Mr. Grumpy and Warren Haig, they're getting quite close. But Haig's going to have the engine power down the straight, but Grumpy will have the downforce through the trickier corners. So Warren Haig has got his car exactly where he wants it, and he's nullifying the threat of one of the most experienced drivers on the PSGL website. Mr. Grumpy has no answer to Warren Haig's question.
Grumpy made a mistake through 130R, but he turned in too early. Very surprising. And 3-second penalty for Jack Lacey.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get 2 or 3 more penalties, because at this rate he's going to finish up behind. Keep your beast, and there's a spinner out there. Who is it? It's Abby Oden. Abby Oden has spun for Haas, and oh no!
I'll tell you what, Toto Wolff he's beaming. He's got his fists clenched. He's celebrating, because this gives JP Greenwood an even better chance to score that point that he's been, you know, waiting for.
Yeah. And nobody. Oh, Abby Oden's out. So Mercedes will get a point if they can finish with one of their drivers. So it's going to be a straight battle between JP Greenwood and Juho Finn. And Juho Finn's enjoying these conditions. So JP Greenwood, at this moment in time, is on course for his first points finish of the season, 32 seconds ahead of his teammate. He was 40 seconds in front, so
yeah, I just had a look at the lap times. Juho Finn is about, you know, 1.2, 1.6 seconds quicker each lap. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, and look at JP Greenwood quickly as he goes through the Degner. Look at that. He really is. Oh, takes the inside line for the second Degner. He is absolutely fighting the car lap after lap. So, yeah, a good, strong, valiant effort. Look at that. Takes the inside line.
Fantastic.
I mean, very agricultural driver at the moment. So, looking using agricultural means to try and score his first points of the season. We'll go back on board with Ash Best, AMS and Big C, but Abby Oden is out. And I wonder if Abby Oden can, just say a few words to the media.
Invite him in. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw something then, but obviously not. Top 5 still very close.
Yeah. I don't know if Abby's got a mic, otherwise I'd invite him in if I knew. But look at that, Big C really, really struggling. Those tyres are getting worn, and AMS can sniff a victory. AMS very consistent, considerate driver, respected as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. I mean, we don't usually race on a Wednesday, do we?
No, I know, it's a different way to race for lots of these drivers. Some will, at this time usually, some will be eating their dinners, some will be out, outside. It's not what they're used to. But Big C seems like he's struggling a bit. Maybe the pressure's getting to him a bit. He doesn't lead races very much these days. Or maybe, it's just a possibility. Maybe he's back in the pack into Giuliano Manu.
I agree. Teammate. JP Greenwood just pitted quickly. I'm going to invite Abby Oden. So they're not gonna hear you until I get back on. So I've just invited him. So we're going to go back to this battle here. It's AMS all over the back of Big C here. Ash Best and Jack Lacey in close company, as well as Giuliano Manu, QPR Beast, Ugia Z, Warren Haig, Mr. Grumpy, and then there's Juho Finn 50 seconds behind. And JP
but in
Greenwood,
P10, importantly, I add.
And was that naive from JP Greenwood? He left himself open to the undercut there. He wasn't enjoying those tyres and he pitted.
No, I think. He's just gone onto the grass. JP Greenwood. I'm not sure if you want to go on board quickly. He just made a mistake. But maybe he felt that he had to be the first to react. Maybe he didn't want to be undercutted by his teammate. But yeah, it might come back to bite him. We'll see.
Yeah. So JP Greenwood. He's got to hope that there's a DNF up the road. He's got to keep his options open. Just keep the car on track. If I was him, I'd press the pause button and let the computer drive it for me until the end. Because JP Greenwood is looking a little bit shaky. But Giuliano Manu, very experienced veteran driver, currently in 5th, enjoying himself out on circuit. And while we're riding on board with his battle up front, the gaggle of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars.
Oh, go on. I think Mr. Grumpy deserves
JP Greenwood's out. The dream of points at Suzuka. He's the dream of his first points of the season, and he is out. And we're not surprised, are we? He was looking shaky all race, and 130R has just caught him out there, and JP Greenwood is out, along with another driver who's out, Abby Oden. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream, Abby. What happened there? You qualified on the front row, but, you crashed so easily. The Haas just wasn't working to your liking, was it?
A Big C braked early for turn 1, I think, and I smashed into the back of him.
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Grumpy's just had a massive crash. Sorry, Abby, Oden, you carry on. But for one of the most experienced drivers to have something like that to happen to him, it's just a shock. Carry on.
And at the hairpin, AMS broke earlier and smashed into the back of him, and from there my race went.
That's a real shame. We were enjoying your battling out on track. We thought it was quite exciting when you went through the final corner and 5 or 6, 7 cars overtook you around the outside. It was quite something. That it's a shame that you're out of the race. What do you think you could have done in work conditions dry?
I think I was better off being at work. Because in the dry, I think everyone has the pace advantage over me. So
okay.
I don't think it would have went wrong.
And Josh, do you have any questions for Abby?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you mentioned how Big C braked a bit early on the first corner. Do you think that was a tactic of his to try and back the field up? Try and protect himself because it's a hard corner to overtake on, or do you think maybe you were more confident into turn one.
I think it was I was more confident and he was just looking for where to brake, so.
Fair enough.
Well, we know that you've been enjoying success in the PSGL F1 League. We're just riding on board here with AMS, who's all over the back of Big C. Two drivers you know very well. And AMS, I think, is in the hot seat here to maybe win this race. If he passes Big C, their tyres are starting to wear. Joel's made the early pit stop. But, you know, Abby, you must be gutted to be out there whilst many of your counterparts in the PSGL F1 League, in fact the top 6 are in the PSGL F1 League. You know, you still want to be out there, don't you, racing and battling these drivers.
I'm trying to go for a podium or even a win. But
you know, I mean, it is what it is, but you know, thank you for joining us, and hopefully it goes better for you next time out in your PSGL F1 League as well. So you enjoy the rest of the evening, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya. So,
nice to hear from him. You know, unlucky. Hopefully he does better next week. But the lead is really, really, you know, fizzing up. I mean, Big C. Talk us through this, Aaron. Talk us through this battle.
I just love it when there's so many cars in close company. I just want to see somebody go for a braking manoeuvre here. If Ashbest goes for an AMS, it's going to be risky. And look at that, he does down the inside. And look at that, barging his way through. But it's a great overtake. Minimal contact. And AMS has to give that one up. I think he was relatively naive. And Juho Finn gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But Jolyon Emanu, he's really lost a lot of ground after his pit stop. I just worry for him. Look at that Big C drifting. He's drifting. And what a save there from the Williams driver. But the Renault's going to have a go back at Ashbest. Ash going defensive down the inside at 130. It's done the middle line. It's not going to set him up too well for the corner. But look at that, the confidence of the McLaren Honda.
I've been watching Ashbest through that corner. He's by far the quickest through 130. He's got a special touch, you know. I don't know if it's Eastern European finesse or some sort of, you know, type of feat he has, but it's just fantastic the way he can carry the speed through that corner. And
I agree. I'm just going to quickly invite JP Greenwood for a word. So you are going to be cut off very, very shortly. So we'll see if we can find JP Greenwood to give us a few words as to what happened out there and why it happened. So JP Greenwood probably settling into his seat here, watching the events unfold. He's probably quite disappointed with, you know, what's happened out there, the F5 League admin. But Ashbest, meanwhile, enjoying these conditions, and he's one position away from taking the lead. If he wins in the McLaren, it will be some accomplishment. And look at that Big C. He's going to have a go, isn't he? You just feel it, Josh. You just feel it.
I can feel it. Yeah, I can feel it. Big C knows it as well. He goes defensive. He knows. When AMS was behind him, you know, Big C wouldn't go defensive because it's a different breed of driver.
Jack Lacey and AMS. And AMS naive once again. Jack Lacey making a corker of an overtake, and it's going to be a double McLaren podium at this rate. AMS can do absolutely nothing about it. Mugged off by the McLarens, you know. Muggy Megan, Muggy Mike, whatever you want to call it. But Muggy AMS.
Muggy Jack Lacey.
Yeah. And while we ride on board this battle for the lead, we're just going to get some words here from, you know, early retiree JP Greenwood, who did have half a chance of scoring some points today. JP, welcome to the commentary box yet again. It does seem to be a weekly feature for you. You know, just what happened out there?
Well, I think saying half a chance, that's been generous there, Aaron. But I'm not good on there, to be honest, especially in the wet. So yeah, had a dodgy first lap. Seemed to do okay for a couple of laps, but right before I crashed, I was struggling through 130R, and I didn't survive. I pitted for damage wing anyway, and then next lap round, I binned it. So I thought it was my best chance to score points, but not to be again.
No, and we're just still seeing this battle on board of Ashbest. He's going for it. He's going for it on Big C. Big C turns in, and that's how you do it. You just cut the door off, and Jack Lacey may have gone his teammate, but Ashbest has got the experience to defend this one. So we will continue to get words from JP Greenwood as this battle phases out, regardless of what happens. You know, JP, I mean, Josh was watching some of your lines, you know, through the Degners. You know, Josh, you want to talk a little bit about that with JP?
Yeah, I just felt that obviously at one point you were running in P10 and there was only 11 runners, so I mean it was the best. It was an amazing chance of getting points for Mercedes, you and Juho. I felt that you were taking them too aggressively. You know, you're really cutting in, and maybe if you hung back, you know, accepted P10, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's easier said than done in these conditions, not taking anything away from you. But maybe if you're taking a bit more caution through the corners, you'd still be on track fighting for that final point. I'm not sure how you feel about those comments. Or...
I'd go all in, Josh, to be honest. There's no...
I respect that,
yeah.
Just all in, no
no
caution.
half matches with me, mate.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So no foreplay at all, straight in. And JP, just one more word, you know. Whilst you're running in P11, didn't you think, you know, maybe I should take it easy here, I could score some points, maybe I should just cruise around, but, you know, you were still putting the foot down, and, you know, that must be really heartbreaking for you to DNF and see your teammate currently running in P10 whilst you knew you had a chance of that pacing him and beating him as you were crushing him for, you know, most of the race.
I just felt if I'd taken it too easy, there would have been danger I was going to get lapped or something, and that's the last thing I wanted it to happen. So yeah, I was already dropped a little bit back by making a couple of mistakes. So yeah, I just wanted to get my foot down really and try and nick one or two more places in the pit stop strategy. But yeah, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. Yeah, and I was obviously too aggressive in one or two of the corners, and yeah, I am. Now I'm here talking to you guys. Yeah,
and I'm just going to have to pause with you for a second because Jack Lacey trying to go down the inside of Ashbest has to back out. They're very sensible driving from Ashbest, and AMS will probably just sit behind and cruise. Very passive driver is AMS. You know, I'm starting
so I've got another question for
yeah, go for it.
Another question for JP Greenwood. Obviously, I saw and as the leaders pit.
Oh, the McLarens have to queue. How a race has turned into a nightmare. And if I was Ashbest, I would not let go of the clutch.
So yes, JP, I saw that you left for session after you retired. I mean, I'm not sure if you've got somewhere to be or anything, or maybe, you know, I know Big C was leading the race. Was it a tactical decision, you know, to get the new director on your side, you know, to take the slipstream off? I'm not sure, you know, why did you leave the session?
I left because CC Brain already left.
Oh, okay, that explains things. I thought he was still in the lobby. No worries, no conspiracies tonight.
No, I wanted to watch the stream, so that's why I did that.
Thank you very much. That's the greatest compliment you could pay, and I'm lucky with your race tonight.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, JP, for joining us once again. And Joni Anamanu's call actually was to pit for the dry tyres early, and the wet weather specialist has got it wrong. Wet weather failure for one of the title favourites. Joni Anamanu having a nightmare out there, isn't he?
He is. He's having. And you know what shocked me? I mean, we were mid-interview with Abby Oden, so I can comment on it. But the two most experienced drivers on the grid, Jolianu Manu and Mr. Grumpy, you know, so sensible, both of them, but they both made massive mistakes in these conditions. Mr. Grumpy was driving like an amateur through some of these corners. He slid, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I wanted to cry. I felt sad. Yeah. And Joe, I mean, to pit in for the medium so early, I'm not sure what he was thinking. It was 5 laps too early. I'm not sure what the pit guy was telling him, but it's just wrong, purely wrong.
And Josh, I think we've missed out on a lot of things while we were talking with JP Greenwood, because Ashbest has jumped Big C through the pit lane, which they can believe that Big C will have the car in the dry weather here to put Ashbest under all sorts of pressure. Locks up, amateur mistake from the 7-time champion. Oh, yellow flag somewhere. Juho Finn is washed up in the gravel. He's washed up in the gravel. Look at that. Look at that. He's having an absolute nightmare. But he's going to come away
still
with
on for a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm just going to see who else has made ground there. Warren Haig on the dry tyres, on the yellow tyres, pitted quite early. He's up to fifth.
Oh my God! Sorry, Mr. Grumpy just over to Giuliano Manu. That was like two vultures, really, really making contact there at the time, really scrapping. The claws moving together, scraping each other. I mean, just fantastic to watch on a Wednesday evening, isn't it?
It is, and you know, Mr. Grumpy's been, showing his claws to many drivers over the years. You know, he's shown his claws to you in the F4 League. You know, how's it feel when Mr. Grumpy gets these claws out and really digs in to your...
I mean, I experienced it last week. You know, he was behind me. He was really clawing at the back of me. You know, that's what Sauber's doing. It's just, it puts you, you know, although he's very experienced, it's a nice feeling when he's behind you. It really is. It relaxes you. I mean, there's so much respect for him. Everyone's got so much respect for him. Even if he overtook you, you wouldn't feel too upset. So it's actually quite a nice feeling to get when he gets his claws onto you.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you who else has got their claws on the back of someone here. AMS has got his claws all over the back of Warren Haig, but AMS very passive driver from what we've seen today.
Yeah.
You know, we have to critique in the commentary box, but he's definitely not at the top end to put Haig under any pressure, and Haig is fighting for a championship here. He's been complaining about car choices, he's been complaining about the fixture changes, he's been complaining about everything as Haig. He just doesn't feel like things are going his way after he started the season so brilliantly, but he is absolutely fighting for every inch out there. He will make sure whatever happens, AMS does not overtake him today. But Warren Haig pitting early, you know, that does mean his tyres may not be able to go the distance, as Big C comes within half a second of AMS, the championship leader.
Will the softs be able to get to the end on all these cars?
Yes,
Did they pit
yes,
too
they
early,
should be.
They
no,
will?
no, I'm sure they will be able to. But
on AMS, all over the back of Warren Haig. Warren Haig is he's a feisty driver. He does his own things on track. He doesn't conform. You know, he's not as passive as AMS behind him. He's dominant. Warren Haig is a dominant driver, you know, especially with other ones. So we'll see what happens.
And AMS defends the inside there. Very sensible driving there. He was mugged off early in the race by the McLarens. Jack Lacey obviously has the queue behind Ash Best there, as you know. He was running in third. He could have got a podium here today, but he will be absolutely fuming. But you know, he had no choice. He had to come in that lap. But Big C! Oh my goodness! Around the outside of 130. Oh, what were we looking at? Is going down the inside, and no, Big C doesn't have the power on the brakes. Oh, we've got to stay on board with this. A lovely helicopter shot as we go down the back straight here. The Williams, and will it have the straight line speed? I think Ash Best is going to struggle for top end here. Will Big C go around the outside? Ash Best right to the inside.
Look at that speed. Look at the overspeed he's got on. Oh my God. What a move. What a move, like Adam off Love Island, dominating the other drivers on the grid. You know, one of the oldest drivers around. Everyone loves him, Big C. You know, you can love him or hate him, but you have to love him regardless, because he's just Big C. And that move just sums him up there, around the outside of Ash Best, one of the young stardoms of the PSGL side. But Big C shows him, you know, what it means to win things consistently over many years, and to stay calm, to really fight for his place on the site. And it's just he's done a fantastic move there.
Brilliant piece of commentary. The 7-time champion is now into the lead, and Big C can sniff
God,
victory.
Mr. Grumpy. Oh. Sorry, he got pushed off by Warren Haig. I mean, really, some F4 feistiness there. You know, F4 drivers are renowned for being nice on track, but not fair.
And Mr. Grumpy is picking it up in these dry conditions, and look at that. Jack Lacey must be wondering what on earth he's done in his lifetime to absolutely frustrate Mr. Grumpy, because Grumpy is absolutely digging his claws into the back of this McLaren here. He will have more straight line speed in the Renault there, and Jack Lacey can feel the way Mr. Grumpy is searing down 130R here. And Josh, take us through this. Look at that.
I mean, the way he turns in, he's comfortable now in stride. You know, he's put his past mistakes behind him, and he looks to the outside. Oh, and Warren Haig gets a 5-second stop-go penalty. That's going to cost him. That's going to give Mr. Grumpy an extra position. As Big C sets fastest lap, he's releasing the fact that he's leading now. You know, he's really relieved that he's got past Ash Best.
And QPR Beast has overtaken Oogie Azim. So as Oogie Azim, a broken driver, once said, you know, it's up into P4. But yeah, I just think something's going to happen here between Jack Lacey and Warren Haig, because these two have been having it out in the FP chat since the start of the season. They've you know, exchanged a few words, and you know, they've been complaining about each other all season. You know, they are definitely not the best of friends.
I'm excited for this. You know, I think something's going to happen. I really do. These are the moments I live for on the F1 games. When I see two drivers, you know, who have personal dislike for each other, you know, queuing up behind one another, it's just brilliant, isn't it?
It is, and you just know Hague's not going to make it easy for anybody.
No.
And you know who else is waiting in the wings? Mr. Grumpy. You know, he wants to have a moment for himself. One of the most experienced vultures around, really wrenching the Red Bull through these tight corners, and he will be having a look. And look at that, Warren Hague backing Jack Lacey into the back of Mr. Grumpy, and Grumpy's going to have a go down the inside here at 139. Jack Lacey will have no answer for him, no answer, and Mr. Grumpy can now finally see P6. He won't be aware of Hague's penalty, but boy, Mr. Grumpy is enjoying himself, making an overtake on a former PSGL F1 champion in Jack Lacey.
Just fantastic, just fantastic. And Giuliano Manus on those medium tyres, you know, he's on for some points, but he'll be disappointed. He had a chance of a podium into the title favourite, some were saying before the race, but you know, just a shame that he's down. You know, he's not fighting with these prestigious names. And what's happening? What have you seen?
Mr. Grumpy was out of shape a little bit, and look at that, Jack Lacey trying to make a move around the outside. What are you doing, Grumpy? What are you doing? Come on, put your foot down, son. Put your foot down. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's weak from Mr. Grumpy, it has to be said. You know, one of the most experienced drivers. Weak. Let's see if he has another go back.
Yeah, he just wonder whether Mr. Grumpy, one of the early pitters onto those tyres, whether he's going to be struggling. He will have a go here, will he? No. Grumpy's a very sensible driver. He'll pick his moment, but Warren Hague will not be happy now to see Jack Lacey all over the back. So Hague will try and back Jack Lacey up into Mr. Grumpy once again. Hague's got a 5-second stop go. He won't be happy about that. So, you know, Mr. Grumpy, he'll be thinking, well, Hague, if I can ruin somebody else's title chances, then, you know, I'll be happy leaving Suzuka here tonight with however many points I get. And Juho Finn 1 minute behind Jodian and Manu in 10th, doing a great job as well. So this is the closest battle on track here. Mr. Grumpy putting Jack Lacey under all sorts of pressure. He's not going to go for a move around the outside. I think he should just wait for Jack Lacey to turn and just get the overspeed out of this corner. But Mr. Grumpy thinking he can go around the outside. The answer's no. The answer's no.
I'm just checking penalties at the moment. None of the top 3 drivers have any penalties. They've really been standout performers today. But Oogie Azim has a penalty. Warren Hague has 2 penalties. Jack Lacey has 2 penalties. Mr. Grumpy has 3 penalties. You know, these drivers, Joel has 1. These drivers on the lower end of the grid, they really push for limits on the track. You know, really fight, really scrap for everything they can get.
Yeah, and you know, McLaren have seen Eric Boulier being sacked today, and Abby Oden is saying that he would love to have seen you commentate on every race. He's really enjoying your commentary, but Jack Lacey enjoying harassing Warren Hague here for P6, and Jolian and Manu who's going to join the party on tyres that can go the distance. So whilst the tyres in front of him, you know, and drivers in front of him may start to give way, Jolian Manu will be clawing himself into the picture. So in terms of the penalties, Joel could move up to 6th. Am I correct?
Yeah. No, he's only got 1, and I think Mr. Grumpy and Jack have lots, and Warren Hague in fact. So if Joel sticks behind, you know, he's a bit sensible here, if he uses his experience, he could move up, and Mr. Grumpy will over back with Jack Lacey again. I'm not sure why Mr. Grumpy's trying to go around the outside.
No, he's done well there. He's got the slingshot.
No, I know, but he's tried it a lot. I mean, we'll see what he does here. Maybe I might have to eat my words. He goes to the inside.
It's going to be bravery on the brakes there, and all that I don't know how I feel about that. That's very risky. If the problem with me is I would have carried so much speed in there if I was Mr. Grumpy, and you know it's the other driver who's turned in. So Jack Lacey really brave there to defend in that manner, absolutely slamming the door shut on Grumpy there. So Grumpy will be thinking, you know what, if he's going to fight like that, I'm going to fight even harder. And Grumps has got the experience to shrug drivers off. But Jack Lacey putting Warren Haig under all sorts of pressure. I just feel something could happen. Look at that, Warren Haig really braking really early.
I feel like that was tactical from Warren Haig there, you know. It wasn't too obvious, but it was just taking the apex slightly slower just to make Jack think that he's unsure what Warren Haig's going to do in front of him. You know, it plays with his mind. And it's just lots of tactics from the experience of Warren Haig. And now Mr. Grumpy is all over Jack Lacey.
Yeah, and I think, shuts the door. You know what, Grumps? You just got to push now. You just got to push. You know, if the driver wants to play with you like that, you play with him back. But Jack Lacey definitely in a frustrated mood. He had a podium in the bag, queued up behind his teammate through the pit lane, and now he is feeling the wrath of Mr. Grumpy and the Warren Haig sandwich. And we've been in sandwiches like this in the F4 League, and they're not easy to get out of.
No, not at all. And Giuliano Manu is finally in DRS range now. I think he's caught the back of his chain. And just a word, while this stays as it is, I don't think Mr. Grumpy's going to make a move. Big C has pulled out a 3.8 lead over fun. You know, he's really showing Ash Best what it means to be a 7 times champion, and just fantastic pace in that Williams car. You know, it is his favourite track, so maybe to be expected, but just fantastic from Big C so far.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask for any questions, but we're not going to get any from anybody because we've only got 2 watchers on stream. But Jack Lacey here going down the inside of Warren Haig, who shuts the door there. That could have turned nasty, very tight corner. Haig's got to hug the inside. Mr. Grumpy keeps a watchful eye, and look at that, Warren Haig really running Jack Lacey out of space, out of room there. And I wonder if Grumpy's going to have a look. And look at that, Haig defending for dear life. His tyres are going.
It's a personal battle now between Haig and Jack Lacey. This is personal. And Mr. Grumpy, you know, just hanging back, having a look. He's going to be thinking, you know, he hopes these two make contact, but you can't hold your breath in this league because they might make contact and he might be collected in it. So, you know, you really have to just take what you can get. It is what it is. And now Jack Lacey in behind Warren Haig. Oh, Mr. Grumpy. Oh, talk us through this, Mr. Grumpy. He's on the outside again.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to slingshot here out of the final corner. He's going to have to hope that he can get the DRS open as quick as possible. He will have the overspeed going into turn 1 that uses up all of his energy recovery kinetic system here as we go round the outside there, and Mr. Grumpy has to give way on that one, and he'll see if he can attack Jack Lacey later this lap. And look at that, he's much more comfortable in the Red Bull there, enjoying a lot more downforce through this opening sector. But Warren Haig really populating, you know, the stream here. Look at that, populating the front.
Oh man, something's happened, QPR beast, he's gone into the gravel, he's lost his podium, he's just lost his podium. Amateurish by QPR beast, no concentration.
He's lost a bit of his wing. So Warren Haig will join the back of this as well. And
fantastic, just what we want to see. But that is a shame for Louis, because he was driving a fantastic race to be in the podium in that house. But you know, at that age, like, you know, they have lots of speed, but sometimes, you know, they blink too hard, they lose concentration. Maybe the parents came in. You know, it's just a shame. It's just a shame. But life goes on.
So I'm just going to put it out to the floor if they've got any questions for the commentators. Sorry that we didn't follow that AMS and Oogie battle too closely, but Mr. Grumpy all over the back of Jack Lacey here and nearly runs himself out of space. Oh, a bit of contact. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Oh no, somebody's lost his wing. No, Giuliano Manu has chipped a bit of his wing. And what's happened to Mr. Grumpy? He's lost a bit of his wing as well. So.
Oh my God, Giuliano Manu. He may have chipped his wing, but he's up to 6th place.
Into the pits.
Yeah, and Mr. Grumpy.
So Joel has got no wing. I wonder how he's going to defend this around the outside.
Squeeze him. Joel knows when to yield, doesn't he? Yeah. He knows.
And a bit of breathing space for Warren Haig with Joel, an innocent passenger, Mr. Grumpy. I mean, I don't think he did much wrong there.
No, I think maybe a bit too, a bit too nice for Mr. Grumpy. I call him Mr. Grumpy, maybe Mr. Smiley is more appropriate, because the way he lifted off, I know he spun Jack Lacey around, but just to keep going. He just stopped on track, and I think that took Joel by surprise when he ran into the back of him.
I agree with you there, Josh. We got a question from Humanfish in the chat. Top 3 at Silverstone this weekend?
For myself, I'm going to say Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, and then Lewis Hamilton. I think it's going to be a Ferrari show, but you and yourself.
I agree with you. I think Hamilton, Bottas, and Vettel. Although Kimi does enjoy Silverstone.
Kimi, he likes those sort of tracks, the long corners. He can really relax when he's going through his corners. He can be more slow when turning the steering wheel at his age. But we'll see. And back on, the gaps are spread out a bit now on track. Only AMS is close to the track in front, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Jack Lacey had taken out 1 second out of Warren Haig, so it could get juicy on that final lap. I just wonder who we're going to hear from in the interviews. We can invite 6 drivers, and I'm just thinking the top 3 and maybe 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I agree completely. 7, 8, 9, because they've really been in the scrap. They'll have stuff to say, and obviously Oogie, for a broken man, he's actually in the podium places, so not bad for a driver who's split into pieces recently, but not bad so far.
As Oogie Azim lags his way through the race circuit, Jack Lacey 2.3 seconds behind, and Warren Haig as well, but Big C leading the race. Pure dominance takes it back to the old days. Does it for the 7-time PSGL F1 champions. QPR Beast picks up another penalty. Disgraceful driving. And Mr. Grumpy into the pits again. Is he going for the fastest lap? Looking at having a little bit of fun there. Is he going to toy with Juho Finn, who can literally sniff 9th place? And I think Juho Finn could get 9th because of the penalties. He could. Sensational.
If he does, then that is one of the greatest drives. I mean, Mr. Grumpy's made 3 pit stops. I'm not really sure if that's necessary. But, I guess he's just having fun on his Wednesday evening. Maybe the missus is out. Maybe he just wants to enjoy himself this evening. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to check the penalties, see how people do.
And JP is going to co-op, and he's getting 2 pizzas and 4 Pat Budweiser for £5, and he feels like it's a bargain. He says it's a bargain. But AMS all over the back of Oogie Azim on the penultimate lap, but I just think Oogie's got this one covered as QPRB sets the fastest lap.
I'll tell you what, Oogie has a penalty, and AMS might not know that, but Oogie does have a penalty, so at the moment... Really agricultural turning there from Oogie, just from a different planet, that turning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we know Pakistan is, in a different part of the world, but it's still on planet Earth. Oogie Azim flying the flag here, but he's not going to get a podium, is he, with a penalty? Says AMS going to finish on the podium, but the problem is, I don't even know if AMS has a mic. I've never spoken to him before.
Maybe, we'll still get Oogie in to hear from him if AMS doesn't join.
Yeah, Big C gets a 3-second time penalty, really enjoying himself out there.
Oh my god.
And AMS going down the inside, and Oogie shuts the door. And he's going to have a slingshot here on the final lap. Oogie will not be able to do anything. It's Fisichella versus Raikkonen. And look at that, AMS making a mockery of Oogie Azim, who will not want to give this one up. The embarrassment of losing the podium position on the final lap. Very, very broken is Oogie Azim. We were right all along. Always doubt this man, because he will disappoint time and time after again. And Oogie Azim, the heart sinks of a nation.
Oh my god, Warren Haig and Jack Lacey. Warren Haig and Jack Lacey. Personal battle back here for P6. I think you need to watch this here in P5. Oh my god.
Oh, would you believe it? Jack Lacey has lost a massive part of his vehicle. I'm trying to go around the outside of Warren Hagen. I think I want to get a word with Jack Lacey instead of somebody else today, because I think he'll be able to describe what happened there. But we've got to go back to the front with Big C and Josh. I'm going to give you the rights to take this man to the line here.
Thank you very much, Aaron. So, I mean, just a fantastic drive from one of the most successful and well-known drivers ever. Probably the most successful, and he comes through the last corner now. Is he going to weave? Is he going to show off? Is he going to showboat? He normally uses his mouth to showboat, but today he uses his car, and just fantastic. Takes the win, shows Ash Best, who's the real Big C, who's the real top dog on the side, and just amazing. AMS comes in P3.
Fantastic.
Passive. Very nice fit.
Warren Haig, what an incredible drive in the Force India. Very cultured defensive performance, and it's P5, and Jack Lacey comes home fuming in P6. He could have got a podium today, but it's P6 and Joel,
he's hung on with half a wing. QPR's made 9 seconds of him, but Joel, he made the right decision. He keeps his title favourites tag. He comes home in P8. Fantastic.
Yeah, and Mr. Grumpy here, while we wait for everybody to finish, what a drive from Mr. Grumpy. He definitely put on a show here today. He was involved in some tight battling. It's probably not the biggest points return he was expecting, but Mr. Grumpy, fantastic driving here today, showing, why he's loved by so many people on the PSGL site. Very experienced driver, the most experienced driver ever. Here he goes to the line to take P9, and he's happy with it. He's happy, he's delighted. Good evening for him, he's enjoyed it. But Juho Finn, where will he classify? We know Grumpy's got some penalties, and I think it's is it P9? No, it's P10.
P10. Still fantastic for the Mercedes drive, really grafted his way through the points then, didn't he?
Yeah, but Haig feels he got a 5-second penalty with no warning, but a great drive, and there he is. Big C celebrates a win alongside Ash Best and AMS, and look at that, I don't know who that was, that Ian Beale, and look at that Big C even has the teeth sticking out as he celebrates. What is a fantastic victory, and AMS there. Very consistent driver, very conservative, but he's got on the podium. Look at that Claire Williams enjoying the luxuries.
Enjoying the liquid on the podium, yeah. And just shout out to Mr. Grumpy, got fastest lap in the end. It was between him and Louis, but Mr. Grumpy, he always has the edge on these new drivers, doesn't he, when it comes down to it.
It does, and we'll just quickly run down the top 10. It's Big C wins from AMS and Ash Best. Oogie Azim 4th, Warren Haig, fantastic drive in P5. Jack Lacey 6th, QPRB 7th, Joel 8th, Grumpy 9th, and Juho Finn in 10th, and we had 3 retirees. So I'm just gonna mute you for a second, and while I get the podium finishes in. So we'll get Big C in. We'll get Ash Best in. I can't see him online, so we're not going to get Ash Best in. We'll get I do want to hear
Jack Lacey.
Yeah, well,
Louis.
No, where's Jack? Where is he? I want Joel. So we'll see if we. I'll see if I can give Ash Best an invite. He might have been appearing offline actually. There you go. So I've invited 6 drivers. So I don't think we had QPR beasts in there because, I think Jack Lacey may have more to say about this one. So yeah, Mr. Grumpy has to have an invite, following that performance. So I'm off the blue screen. I don't know who I've invited. I've invited a lot of drivers, as we can hear a lot of mumbling in the party chat, following what was a very, very exotic Grand Prix with some exotic racing, and we really enjoyed ourselves out there, didn't we, Josh, with what we saw?
We really did enjoy ourselves. It was a fantastic show, put on by all the drivers, but especially Big C, the most successful driver of all time, a 7-time world champion. And Big C, sorry to, everyone's in the party now, so we can start. Big C, how did the race go for you?
Yeah, no, it went as expected. I was the fastest in the dry, but obviously in the wet, I went for the dry setup, so I was struggling. Obviously, Ash and Jack AMS are quicker in the wet, probably on equal cars, and I think the cars they were in probably a bit more suited to the wet conditions. But anyway, I had a straight line speed, so I knew maintaining the lead was going to be pretty easy, so that's why I went for the dry setup. And yeah, well, obviously I lost the lead to Ash in the pits, but obviously, you know, the straight line speed of the Williams and my ability to overtake's pretty good. So, you know, it was a nice little side by side moment through 130 yard, and obviously I got around that side at turn one. But yeah, you know, I had the fastest car and I took the win. But you know, a lot of people have fast cars, but it's about delivering the goods, and you know, a lot of people in PSGL don't really deliver the goods. So I was quite happy to, you know, get the 16 points.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Now, Aaron, do you have any questions for Big C?
I've always got a question, you know. It's been a while since you've won your last race. You've gone winless in PSGL F1 so far. You know, this must be some sort of relief for you to kind of cement, you know, what you're all about, you know, to kind of remind drivers that, you know, you are still one of the best drivers around. So, you know, personally, you know, and emotionally, that must be very satisfying after a very exhausting, you know, past couple of seasons.
Yeah, no, I mean, winning races is always good, but obviously I had a bit of an advantage in the car, but as I say, you've got to do the job, you've got to make no mistakes, and I think in the dry, you know, I did the business today, and obviously F1 is F1, there's a lot of faster drivers nowadays, but I don't have the time or the commitment, really, to play the game as much as I'd like, or, you know, to be as a level I was at before, but no, we're happy, and yeah, that's that. We'll hopefully can get a few more wins in FP or help Joel to the title.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to P2 Man Ash Best. In a few sentences, just describe what finishing P2 means to you in the McLaren Honda.
It means everything to me. I mean, I'm not really in the title fight as much as I am in F1, due to the fact I am also missing out FP for 3 races. So, I mean, it's disappointing for me, but that I can't bite it till the end. But I mean, if I could get as many points as I can and like just have fun, and I mean, I pushed that McLaren to the limits. Really, I tried everything I could. Had fun battles with AMS and Big C, but like P2 meant a lot to me to finish in a McLaren in this slow of a car.
Yeah, no, well. Great drive. And who's next, Josh, on the list?
Well, AMS finished P3, but obviously he hasn't joined the party chat. I think the next highest up finisher was Jack Lacey, if I'm not correct.
Is he in the chat?
He is in the chat.
I'd love to ask him, you know, a few questions, because, you know, we saw your battling out there on track today. You know, you must have felt you had a podium in the bag, but you know, you queued up behind your teammate Ash Best and ended up behind Warren Hagan. He was defending for his absolute life. You know, do you feel like, you know, he got one over on you following, you know, some of the things that were said in the past?
Nah. But yeah, obviously as you said, the race just really went to shit after the pit stops. So yeah, obviously Warren defended alright, to be fair. I was pretty surprised. He actually defended quite cleanly. So yeah, it was a good race all around, really good clean race at least. Yeah, not really what we wanted, but whatever.
Yeah. And Josh, you want to talk about the experiences Jack had with Mr. Grumpy in a momentarily?
Yeah, well, before we talk about you and Mr. Grumpy, we were on board with you when you were behind Warren Haig. We were wondering, you know, we were looking into your helmet. We were wondering, was the battle personal? We saw Warren Haig weave a couple times and really almost brake check subtly, using all his experience out on track there. Did you feel as if you had to get past him to prove a point, or was it just, you know, any other battle with any other driver? Just like emotionally, you know, really let us feel your emotions, Jack.
Listen, you know, it's an FP race. I don't really care about the race, the FP races. I don't really care about Ron Haig, so nothing there.
Ooh.
Well, he finished ahead of you today, so you know, well done.
That's fine.
On your finish and on to the and onto the next one. It's who is it? Is it Joel or QPR?
No, Louis jumped him.
No, I've got 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds. Apologies.
Go on, Josh. I know you've been, you know, foaming about Joel all day.
Yeah, we really were, Joel. We were really hyping you up, you know, as a title favourite in our eyes before the race. I know you're delighted to be within 12 points of the of the lead. You know, with all your experience, we really did think you were a favourite. But what was the call for mediums all about? You know, we were shocked. You went in so early. It was a mistake. Just can you talk us through it?
Yeah, it was a mistake in hindsight, but I think everyone would agree that the track was a lot drier in its appearance than how it felt. So I believe if it looked how it should have felt, I would have had 2 more laps on the rest of them, I think. But yeah, no, it was a mistake. We should have stayed out. But title fight is well and truly over, I believe. No.
It was a good recovery drive, though. Are you sure? Are you giving up on the title so early? Or?
I'm 20 points off Ash Best. Yeah, that's not. Unless Oogie, you know, is a bit more favourable with his car choices.
Joel, you shouldn't have anything to worry. I'm missing the last 3 races.
That is true.
Oh well. We're
Joel,
gonna.
the title.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next. We're gonna move on to the next driver now. Thank you very much. Apologies to our viewers there for listening to animals screaming. Thank you for your words, Joe. We're going to move on to QPR Beast, who gave away a podium following a rookie error at the Degners. You know, you went off at Degner 3. You know what happened?
The Dunlop curve, yeah. Yeah, I know. I was quite distraught at the time, you know. The 9 ballast, the wet setup, it just was understeery in the dry, and yeah, Dunlop curve, just binned it. It wouldn't have been a podium anyway, it would have been P5 because of that 10-second penalty, but it's, you know, it's a shame. I've been over-driving recently. Just need to focus before my favourite track next week, so hopefully he helps me out with that as well, with a nice high downforce car, maybe the Renault, so that's all really.
Thank you very much. And Josh, I'm going to let you introduce the next man here and give him a few questions. I know you were absolutely loving what this man had to offer.
I mean, some of the entry speeds into the corners, especially in the first sector and through 130R, it was, you just knew this man. You know, he goes to work every day and he comes home and he races for years. He's raced and he's achieved more than anyone else. The most experienced driver in the whole of PSGL, Mr. Grumpy. Can you please sum up for us how you felt your evening went? It maybe didn't end as well as it could have, but you still had fun, didn't you?
Yeah, I still had fun out there. The other part of the race I felt a bit slow and making mistakes. But I realised I didn't knock me front wing, so that's probably why I'm still running the drive setup. But then when it started to get a bit drier and it was drying up a bit, that's when I had fun. But then obviously making mistakes behind Jack, I think.
Yeah, we saw those mistakes behind Jack, and you know, did you feel it was getting quite personal between you and Jack? You know, did you feel like, you know, a piece of Warren Haig was inside your cockpit as well?
No, I think I was focusing too much on that battle between them two, and I think that's what made me make the mistakes, to be honest. Because I thought they were going to make contact with each other, and it ended up being more.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you've got to force the contact, but, you know, great drive, you know, great performance here today. And, you know, before we finish, Josh, who was your driver of the day?
Yeah, well, you know, I think Louis Jacobson had a fantastic qualifying, so he was going to be up there, but I mean, the mistake, you know, amateurish, sorry Louis, but really threw away your chance of driver of the day. So for me, Big C. Really, you know, showing all the other drivers why he is Big C, why he's the Adam of the PSGL, you know, league, why he's the one they all look up to after all these years. And, you know, I know he had a good car, but fantastic, dominating performance. But there was lots of standout drives, I thought, but Big C took the gold medal for me.
Yeah, it was a great drive from Big C, but, you know, Warren Haig put in a great defensive display, and I quite enjoyed that. Best. But, you know, Ash Best and McLaren also did a good job. But, you know, before we bark about who is and who isn't driver of the day, you know, thank you for tuning into the stream, and thank you for joining us in the commentary box, Josh. It's a pleasure to have you, and yeah, we'll see you next time out at Singapore.